Why you're not live? Okay, good. Wow. Call to me, and I will answer you and tell you and even show you great and mighty things which have been confined and hidden, which you do not know and understand and cannot distinguish. Jeremiah 33:3. What an amazing promise from God. What an amazing invitation. He said, if we would call to him, he will answer. And he will tell us, or he will make known to us, he will show us great and mighty things. This was the word that I shared yesterday in our weekend Sunday service. And I tell you, this thing came down from heaven. It dropped like a bomb. I felt it in my home and I felt it in my life. I felt the revelation of the Word of God being unfolded before us. I read from the Amplified Bible, and God says, when we call, he will tell us and even show us great and mighty things. These are the days when God wants to do great things for his people. These are the days when God wants to manifest miracles in our lives. You know, there's a saying, unusual times. These are unusual times, and unusual times calls for unusual responses. Well, guess what? We want to see the miraculous. These are times when we need. The world is facing a crisis like it has never seen before. We have a stay-at-home order that has been extended here in our nation, Trinidad and Tobago, until the 15th of May. We know that all is not well. There are questions being talked on social media about the validity of the numbers being presented on camera about the deaths in Trinidad and Tobago and how many people really have the virus. I think those are questions that People have asked around the world. It's not unusual to us, our nation. It's like not unique to our nation. It's across the world. People are saying, is this really the true picture? Well, guess what? We know that these are not normal times. We know that there needs to be a response from heaven. But God is saying, hey, some people are just wondering. Well, some people are living in this hope that God will do something. But He said, I will do something if you do something. I am going to do something if you choose to do something. Call to me, he says, and I will answer you. So you want answers? Call. You want God to pick up the phone? Call. Call him. Uh, put through the call. Uh, put him on speed dial. Put God on speed dial on your phone. And when you call, he said, I will answer you and I will tell you and even show you great and mighty things. Now, look what those great things are. They are things that have been confined and hidden, things that have been shrouded, things that have been mysteries, things that we are not clear about, things that we didn't understand before. That's what it's talking about. Things that are hidden. He is saying, hey, these are things that are going to happen. I am going to come to you, and I am going to. He said, one translation says, he said, I'll tell you remarkable secrets that you do not know about things to come. Remarkable secrets. Oh, how many of you want God to come to you and to show you what is to come? How many of you want the secret things? The secret things. God, how many of you want God to show you those things that He said in His Word? I am Joseph Abraham, and it's a joy for me to be with you on the daily briefing today. I want to just camp here for a moment because he's saying there are some things that have been confined or in obscurity. Some of you have been confined. You've been in obscurity. I know that's been a story of my life where God showed me some of my heroes of faith in the scripture that they walked a similar journey to me. No one knew about them for years. No one knew about Moses for so many years. For he was 80 years old when he had that burning bush experience. It's interesting how God moves in our lives, and the things that are confined and hidden. Hidden hidden means it's not in plain sight, and some things are hidden in plain sight, but there's a veil over our eyes. The scripture spoke about that concerning human beings, that sometimes Jesus is in plain sight, but for many people he is hidden because there's a veil over their eyes. The God of this world, the Bible says, blinds the eyes of unbelievers. And this is why we have to pray the way we pray, so that people's eyes can be opened. I remember when my eyes were opened and how I saw, and it was right there before my eyes. So he says, when you call, I will answer. And here's how the answer is going to play out. I'm going to tell you things. I'm going to show you things. That speaks to revelation. I'm going to unveil things. I'm going to what kind of things? It's not simple things. I'm going to show you great and mighty things. I'm going to show you great. So that's the power of calling. That's why we have our morning prayer, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. That's why we have prayer on Saturday at 9 a.m. because we're training people how to call on God. That's why we do it on Sunday at 8 a.m. That's a great, I want to promote that Sunday time at 8 a.m. Come on, you don't have to come on camera. You don't have to be, people like myself. I have to prepare to come on camera, and I have to make sure that things are in place, and I'm dressed appropriately. I couldn't just come on with an undershirt. You know what I mean? You'd be like, wait. That's a mistake. Maybe Fitz didn't realize that Joseph was not, he didn't finish dressing as yet. So you could come on. You could come on between breakfast or whatever is your morning routine. Come on at 8 and pray with us, because there's something. You see, here's what I'm doing today. I am awakening in you. God's using me to awaken in you that desire to call on God. Some of you, you're too quick to proclaim that you're tired praying. Tired praying. That's like um, that's like saying dark sun. The sun is never dark. You understand what I'm saying? You might say it's night here, but it's not because there's the sun is not shining on that part of the year, but it's shining in other parts of the world. The sun always shines. The sun is bright. The sun is brilliant. Tired praying, it just kind of it doesn't go together. Tired praying, no. We need to have a revelation of prayer. Prayer is meant to be a lifelong journey. It's like saying I'm tired breathing. I never say I'm tired breathing, or I never say I'm tired of. So many people say that they're tired of praying. Well, I want God to use me to awaken in you a desire to call on God. I know that right now there are people here on this daily briefing that you are being stirred about prayer. When you're stirred, it's prayer, and it's simply calling on God. It's simply approaching God in a conversation. It's not an interview. It's not a quiz. It's not uh, one of those orders you email to the restaurant or the grocery so that they can prepare your shopping for you. It's not that. It's a conversation between two people who love and know each other, and and one who is fascinated about the other, and the other who may not be so certain about their relationship. It's kind of that kind of thing, I mean, when you call on God, He says, "I will answer you and I will show you great and mighty things." I want to just step back here and say, if you've been calling on God, have you been seeing great and mighty things? Uh-huh, uh-huh. Because maybe you need to adjust something there. Maybe you're calling. Maybe, some people approach God like if there's a you've been to the grocery, or you've been to where there are specials on, and they say one per customer. Some of us, we think, well, okay, I can only approach God once. I have to limit what I ask Him. I have to limit what I tell Him. I have to limit what I share with Him. Let me tell you something. If you have not been seeing great and mighty things, you need to adjust how you talk to God. I'm just telling you plain language. And if that's me, if the shoe fits, I have to wear it. Let me tell you something. Look into my eyes. I need to see more great and mighty things. I'm never going to be satisfied as long as I live. I want to see great and mighty things for me, for my brothers and sisters, for my sons and daughters. I want to see great and mighty things in my life. I want to see great and mighty things for my wife. I want to see it for my mother, for my brothers, for my sisters. I want to see it for my nephews and nieces. I want to see it for my sons and daughters. So I would always be hungry for more. There's a hunger that is inside of me, and it's never going to be quenched. It's never ever going to be quenched, because guess what? God's like that. God cannot be contained in the mind of a human being. God is a God without limit. So I have to now live into my nature, that part, because I'm made in the image and likeness of God. I get to come and let that explode in my life, and just allow Him to bring into my life and show me great and mighty things that have been confined or hidden, things that have been shrouded, things that I did not have the sight to see, or the comprehension, or the ability to handle. He's going to show me things that have been hidden, which He said you do not know and understand and cannot distinguish. So He's saying, listen, there's a condition in our lives where we don't know and we don't understand. You do not know, you do not understand, and cannot distinguish. There's a condition in our lives, and I want you to know that. Oh boy. Hmm. All right, so We're on audio here. I was told my video is frozen. Thank you so much for that heads up. Let's see what we can do here. This is something we have to make sure we know what's going on here as far as this. Um, I'm not sure why it's happening, but we're gonna before I'll tell you when I'm ready, Fitz, because I have to put this back on on stream. Yeah. Let's see if we can. I have to go into the. Yeah. Wow. I as I'm talking to you today, I am just thinking about the many things that I have experienced in life and how many things I didn't know, I didn't understand, things that are hidden, things that's what the scripture is talking about, things that are hidden, things that I don't understand. Um, those of you who know me, you know that I resent uh, the whole concept of I don't know. That's that's not a concept I believe in. That the I don't know concept is not a concept that I am subscribing to. You understand that? It's not a concept. The I don't know concept, and I want you to know that that's one of the reasons why um, I am here today with you and sharing this word, because many of us, we're bound by the I don't know concept. We're bound by that. We're bound by the whole concept that I don't know, and some even hide behind it, and some are content to not know. And that's why some people don't pray, because they don't care to know. They don't really want to know. They don't want God to open their eyes. It's like, leave me in my stupidity, leave me in my naivety, leave me in that place. I don't need to know. Leave me. I don't want to know. I am good just like I am. I'm good where I am, and I am happy where I am. And that's something that is it's really to put it bluntly, it's a pathetic state to be in. And so today God is ministering to our hearts, and He's helping us to understand that when we call unto Him, we're calling and He's answering us, and He wants to show us things. But He said, you don't know, and you don't understand, and you cannot distinguish these things. You don't know, you don't understand, you cannot. There's a shroud, there's something that is standing in your way. There's something that is hindering you from seeing. There's something that is not making sense to you. It's just not making sense. It's not jiving. um, One translation says, I will tell you wonderful and marvelous things that you know nothing about. Oh, come on. I want, come on. There are people here on this feed. This is an amazing word. I will tell you wonderful and marvelous things that you know nothing about. Nothing about. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. The Message translation says, I'll tell you marvelous and wonderful things that you could never figure out on your own. Yeah. Wow. I'm excited to share with you today about this. This is the word. I want you to pray this word over your life. Let this be our anchor verse for the rest of, let it be the anchor verse for the rest of this week. Let it be, let it drive you, let it fill you up, let it motivate you, let it carry you. Because there are some things, remember, we're talking about how we emerge. How are we going to emerge from this? How are we going to emerge? And so thank you again for joining me today. Thank you for coming on. It's great to have you today. We're going to have a conversation today we're having a conversation about in a short while. I have with me backstage right now one of the directors of one of the pillars of Freedom Church. I have with me today. Did my video freeze? Okay, yeah. And that person is here with us, and she's the director of a very major pillar, which is our small groups. But today she's not talking about small groups, although we want to talk about small groups because the first week of May is just around the corner. But we're going to be talking about going to school at home. So I want us to put our hands together and welcome on set Lori Selby, lecturer,
Wow.
student, lecturer and student. Lori Selby, it's great to have you with us today, Lori.
Good morning. It's really, really great to be with you in studio again. It is my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, awesome. So this, you're a student and you are a lecturer. How long have
Yeah.
you been lecturing? And is it okay if I have a cup of?
Certainly. I've been lecturing for 7 years.
Wow.
7 years consistently. I did a short stint 2008, but recently 7 years. Yeah.
And what is your main subject area that you teach in
Well, it's
at this
that
time?
subject that everybody enjoys, everybody looks forward to
I
doing.
know it. It was my favorite subject in school. I know it. I
It's
know it.
a life subject,
Yes,
mathematics.
yes.
It's
It's,
a part of our lives every single
it
day.
helps you count your money, right?
Yes, we do. Every day we work with time, we work with a clock. Our body works with systems. Everything is so mathematical. And I try to make those connections because it makes it real and fun and enjoyable. So,
Yes. It's interesting how mathematics has played such a critical foundational role in the advancement of human life. Most people never stop to think about that, but you take away math from society, we'll collapse.
you are so right.
We'll
And
collapse.
many times my students want to know, well, Miss, when are we going to use this in the real world? And what I try to instill in them is that this is not just about using an equation or recalling an equation. The principle, the underlying principle is thought. The
Yes,
underlying principle is being able to
yes,
uh, solve a problem,
yes,
reason through, see things before you put them down, and that thinking begins to serve you. That problem solving ability
yeah.
serves you in every area of your life. You
Wow.
look at something and immediately your brain starts to process in a certain way and you begin
Yeah.
to see solutions. So
Mhm.
it's supposed to build in you a problem solving nature, a
Oh,
solution
really?
finding nature. So
Right, right. And that's interesting. That's interesting. It's amazing how um, that's a concept that I think a lot more people need to hear. So you are now lecturing at,
the University of Trinidad and Tobago.
yeah,
Yes.
awesome,
Yeah.
and you're conducting a lot of classes from at home.
Yes. I was so pleased. At UTT, they took the time long in advance of what we are experiencing now to train and to insist that every single lecturer was trained in how to conduct classes online. And many lecturers began doing what we call blended learning prior
When
to
did you say
our.
they start that?
I completed my training about a year ago.
Okay.
And I think I was in the last batch to be trained.
Mm,
So there were others who completed their training before I did. And
right.
we were trained in how to offer classes online and to do what we call blended learning, which is where we have some classes in person and some classes online. So
Yeah.
that helped us to get ready for what we're doing today. And we were able to continue our classes on the same days and the same times uh,
Yes.
from our homes with
Uh-huh.
using the technology that was available to us. And so still ensure that the entire curriculum was delivered in an effective way to our students. So,
Right.
yeah,
Right. Wow. And so you all had no idea of what was going to happen, but you were
no,
ready. You were ready.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, we will.
Right. Wow. Well, we're talking about going to school at home, an interesting
Yes,
concept. Um, and I, I want to. What, what's the most important thing you think for people who might be in this situation? And I could think of zillions of people right now who are going to
yes,
school at home.
yeah,
Um, I mean, I do a lot of training online myself, and I meet with clients online. It's 99% of my meetings are held online. So
yes,
this is a way of life for me and my company, Success Training Systems Limited.
yeah.
So, what's the most important thing you think someone listening in today, leaning in, for them to take away from this conversation?
Wow. Well, I think I would say two things, at least two things for now concerning learning at home, going to school at home. The first one being be willing to make adjustments.
Uh
Uh,
huh.
it's different. It's different. There are students who prefer the physical classroom, being physically next to students that they can interact with and seeing a teacher physically. So we want to be open and be willing to make the adjustments that need to be made. And the second thing I would say that's really critical is to take ownership of your learning. Take ownership of take responsibility for ensuring that you learn, whatever that means, whatever support, whatever extra has to be done. It's important for me as a student and for every student who wants to be successful to say, hey, at the end of the day, the buck stops with me, the onus is on me, and there are tools available to me. There are lecturers available to me. There are systems available to me. Let me find out what they are and make the best use of them. Yeah.
Right, right. I like that. I like that. You said take, be willing to make adjustments and
Yeah.
take the ownership of your learning. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm amazed at how many people just put their learning in the hands of others, and they don't take the ownership. They think
Yeah.
that the teacher is going to make me understand this. So
Yeah.
like it's like, not, you have two legs.
Yes.
Most people, I mean, you're not standing up on both. You think that somebody should lift you up and carry you. But you have two legs, and you taking ownership of your learning. Um, I could probably spend hours talking about that,
Yeah.
because um, it just speaks to so much. Because number one, you have your own learning style.
That's correct.
Number two, there's a burst of energy when you begin to learn.
That's
There's
right.
something, we were made psychologically, we're wired to learn. That's
Yes.
why when you look at children, you never look at a batch of children, a generation of children. Let's say you take a village and you call all the children together and you look at them, they all want to learn.
That's right.
And
That's right.
if they're on a break time, if they are in a school, or if they're on an outing, what are they doing? They're learning.
That's right.
They're asking, what is that? They're learning. They would fall down and they would learn that, hey, you shouldn't, that's a hard ground. And
That's
then they
right.
would see them avoiding falling down.
Yeah.
Uh, you would see them, all kinds of stuff. But I am always fascinated when I look at children and I see this. It's like if you stick them with a pin, not I want you to do that, but in the cell, all of a sudden, what's going to come out is that amazing desire to learn. That
That's right.
amazing desire to learn would emerge from them.
That's
Yeah.
right. And I'm
Uh,
so glad that you
yeah.
said that, Dr. Abraham, because as I was just jotting down some notes, the thing that I wrote at the top of my page is learning equals growing. And
Yes.
I'm so glad that you raised that because children, everything about them is growing. Their bodies are growing, their brains are growing. And so
Yeah.
learning, their curiosity is so vast. They want to know everything. And
Yes.
learning equals growing, and that's why we
Learning
have to,
equals growing. It's a
yeah,
great concept. I
yeah,
love it. I love it. I love it.
we have to
Um,
take hold of it and run with it our entire
yes,
lives. Yeah,
yes, yes. And I love that. I love that concept. Learning equals growing,
yeah,
that you're sharing. Because when you take ownership of your learning, I think that there's so much could happen. You
yes,
begin to understand your capacity. You
that's right.
begin to work with yourself. You could begin to challenge yourself. You know, it's like again, when you think about children, you put a child in the pool, and if you put a child and they start beginners swimming,
Hmm.
if you took them back there 3 months after maybe finishing beginners and going on to intermediate, and you say, okay, well, today we're going to join the beginners class. They're going to be like, no, no, I don't want to be in the beginners class because I know that already. And they will
Yeah,
be happy to tell you that they know that already. They're
yeah,
not going to, they're not going to back down. And so when you work with yourself and you take ownership, you know your limits and you could
yes,
establish those benchmarks. Uh, the child knows I have to swim from this place and I have to touch that wall, and
yes,
and they know that that's their goal. And if they couldn't do it before, and they see that they reached the 50% mark, they know, hey, I could push myself, but I'm taking charge of my learning.
that's right.
The tutor, the trainer is not getting in the pool and doing my kicks for me,
That's
or
right.
doing my strokes for me, or breathing for me. I have to do it for myself, and that whole concept to me is amazing. um,
Yes,
where we could take ownership of our learning. Yeah,
yeah,
wow. And learning equal growing. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, now I want to put just a couple. I would say I want to put. I want to say a couple of things here, and then we come back.
sure.
Um, I think that to me, when I think about people studying at home or going to school at home, I think one of the things that I would like to put. This is just from Joseph now. I'm not lecturing at a university, but for me, I think that how you approach your studies is important, and
Definitely.
having a mind to succeed.
That's right.
Just upfront saying, listen, we're at home and I can do this. We're at home and I will do this.
That's right.
We're at home, school is closed, but school is open.
That's right.
School is moved online. I have a mind to succeed.
Yes.
My whole future and the future of the world is going to be so much more online. So we
Yes.
talk about online banking, online shopping, a
Yes.
whole host of things. People love. Some people are beginning to enjoy shopping online more than going to a physical store.
Yes.
I am one of those.
Wow.
I think that sometimes I could get a whole lot done shopping online. Maybe in half an hour, I
Yeah.
could do a lot of shopping. And while if I had half an hour, I'm still not in the car to
Yeah.
leave home as yet,
Correct.
but I would have finished shopping, paid, and my goods are on the way
Yeah.
with online. So it's the future, it's the present and the future. So having a mind to succeed in this space,
Yes.
I think that so many students, you're being forced into a space, but the world needs you to be proficient in this space.
That's
And
correct.
life, your family, your children, your future spouse, if you're single, most would be single because they're students, but
Yeah.
hey, your future depends on this. The
That's
people around you, society. If you're a part of Freedom Church, we depend. Our online community of faith depends on this. Your proficiency.
that's
You can't remain. I don't know. We read
that's
it from Jeremiah 33:3. God's going to bring you out of I don't know zone,
that's right.
the bozo zone. He's going to bring. Sorry, I didn't mean to rough you up there, but you know what I mean. Sometimes I used to use language that's like, when I cook, I like to use spices that every
Yeah.
so often it hits you
Yeah.
and hits the roof of your mouth. Well, that's what that was meant to be. I don't want to call you a bozo, but I'm saying there's a mindset out there that I don't know, I don't know. The Freedom Church needs people to be in the know about the online world.
That's
Your
correct.
family needs you to be in the know. And so a mind to succeed, having a mind to succeed, it's like saying upfront, I can do this.
That's right.
I will do this.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
And that, Dr. Ram, what you said there ties in so well when you said, I have a mind to do this and I can do this. I will do this. My family, my future. Because one of my things that I do, one of the principles that I work with as a student is I choose a confession. I have a confession that I make
mhm.
uh, regularly. I'll share my confession with you. My
Yeah,
confession that I use, because as we make these adjustments and as we take ownership and as we realize that, people are depending on us, sometimes we begin to feel the weight of it. Sometimes learning, it comes at a price. It comes at a price. And I make this confession. I say, God is with me. And when I make that confession, it's like a weight is lifted off of my shoulders, and I am able to know that I'm not in this alone. This is not
yes,
too much for me because it's not too
yes,
much for God. And God is equipping me to do everything.
yes,
So I sit down and I make my confession. God is with me. And
yes,
that helps me to keep that focus that you spoke about, because I needed so much. I needed so much in order to take that responsibility to run with it. So I'm so glad that you raised that, because having that attitude, choosing that attitude that you spoke about is so, so, so important. And just reminding ourselves out loud, like you just shared, is really, really.
yeah, yeah. It's a can-do attitude. It's an attitude
Yes.
that's unstoppable.
Yes.
You know, how you approach a thing is 90% of what determine 90% of the outcome. How you
Yeah,
approach, um, and you do. There's a psychological part of our being, a
that's right.
psychology. Um, there's a psychology here that you have, that you have, that you want to be able to, um, you want to be able to recognize that part of your being, the
That's
psychological part of your being.
that's right.
I think it's so very, very important. That psychological part of your being. It's like, I'm going to give you my audience, a very simple explanation here. I very often, if you go to the beach or the pool, right? Um, Sometimes when we travel, my wife would say, "Come in the pool." She likes water and
Mhm.
loves water, not likes. And I would say, "Oh, is it cold?" That's the first question. Is it cold? And she said, "No, no, it's not cold." And I'll be like, "I don't believe you," in my initial response. And here's what you go through. You then have to sit there because she's in there, she's my wife, and I want to go in and be with her. Right?
Yes.
That's very important for me. I didn't come to sit and be a chicken about whether the water is cold.
Yes.
But you go through this psychology. You go through the psychology of um, of the water. You
Hmm.
go through this whole psychology of um, of hey, what is cold? I don't know if you do it, but I go through it. What is cold?
Yes.
And is cold really cold? Um, and when I go through it, what happens is that before long, I I psych myself. I said, okay, Joseph, you're gonna feel cold for 1 minute,
That's right.
and then you're
Yes.
gonna love it.
Come
And
on.
once I do that internal talk,
Yeah.
and I said, okay, I'm coming in. 1, 2, 3, and I'm in. I'm talking about completely emerge under the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
When I come up out of the water, and I'll be like, okay, shiver for 30 seconds, and then I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
done shivering, and the party now starts. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
so it's like a psychology. that is involved. And I think that we need to realize that when it comes to um, going to school, at home, there's a
Yes.
psychology, and when we pay heed to that psychology, before long, I mean, we are going to have such a great time,
It's going to be amazing because
such
that
a great time.
yes, and
Yeah.
that psychology is going to help us with the next thing that is so critical for learning on in any atmosphere, which is discipline.
Yes.
And that
Yes.
psychology, when you go through that psychology, it frees you to get into that water when you need to be in there. And
Mhm.
that psychology supports me and will support every student concerning what I should be doing when, because I
Yes.
need to have a schedule. I need to maintain a schedule, and maintenance of that requires the big D, that discipline.
Mhm.
And discipline breeds success.
Awesome. Awesome.
Discipline breeds good results. Something that I always tell my students, I tell them, I said, they have this idea, and this is why I tell them this, that some people are bright and others are not. And what I tell them is a disciplined student gets the same results as a bright student. It's not just about being bright, it's about what we do with what we have. And
Yes.
that discipline, that using that psychology that you just spoke of, is going to
Yes.
breed that disciplineness that we need to do
Wow.
what we're supposed to when we're supposed to do it. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Critical.
Awesome. And I want people to think, to know today that this is not just about, you may not be enrolled in a formal course,
Yeah.
but you do training.
Yeah.
Maybe you are a part of our small groups. Maybe
Yeah.
you'll be signing up for a small group. Maybe you are in the growth track, and
Yeah.
you're going to be at home in growth track. You'll be doing growth track from home. We're
Yeah.
having church at home. You're at church and you're at home all at the same time. So
Yeah.
those are things that we see as factors
That's right.
influencing what we do when we do it. And in my audience, I know there are lots of people. You at some point in your future, many of you are in my course, how to thrive in the midst of adversity,
Yes.
and we're getting ready to offer that course again in a short while. Um, as a paid course. That's going to be amazing. And people are going to come on. They're going to be in a class for 6 to 10 weeks or 12 weeks, and they're going to be there learning and growing. And how do you approach that? So our conversation is not just for people who are at university. I
That's
think it's
right.
for anyone who wants to learn and grow. And
Yes.
I would like to say, because of our time, we're wrapping up here now, that many of you, this is your golden opportunity to engage in some form of study. I,
Yes.
I want you, because we're an online community of faith, I want to speak into your faith. And you have to ask yourself, what's the next step for you?
That's
What's
right.
the next step? This weekend, many of you completed Growth Track. What's the next step for you? I don't know where you are. Maybe you are uh, coming in on this feed from another nation, another country. You're in a different zip code from us. You're in a different area code from us. And what's the next step for you spiritually? Some of you need to. The next step might be to enroll in Growth Track. This
Yeah.
this first step that's coming up here. Some of you, it may be to prepare to be water baptized. Some of you, it may be to be in our online service. Maybe you have said, okay, well, I'm doing all of that. Maybe it's to be in prayer with us as a team and learn the language of prayer and learn the posture and the attitude of prayer. I don't know what it is, but there's a next step for you. And
Yes.
for some of you, it might also mean to be very intentional about your growth as a human being. Whatever stature, whatever place you are in life, there is a next step for
That's
you
right.
in your growth and in your development. I know that my company, Success Training Systems, can also be of great service to you. I believe so with all my heart. I believe that our company is able to to add value to you and to bring to you insight and learning and understanding and help you. But you have to be willing to make that step, that one step, because if you don't, you're gonna, a year will go by and you'll be in the same place.
That's
And that's
right.
one of the awkward reflections that we go through from time to time. 1 year later, you're in the same place. Uh,
Yeah.
2 years later, 5 years later, you're in the same place. And here's the thinking that I think that people develop from that. They begin to think that sameness is success. They,
Mm.
they think that, okay, well, if I am in the same place, I'm successful. And the person that's moved on, they don't know what they want in life because they seem to be doing something new now. Well, go and talk to Elon Musk, he's set to probably be the world's first trillionaire. Um,
Wow.
and you would think about all that he has done, and he moved from uh, the eBay business and selling it and doing something else and something else and something else. Listen to me, and these are people who are enemies of progress. They think that if you just do nothing for 5 years, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
You're solid. People could come up and see you sitting down on the same chair. 5 years later, you'll be on the same chair,
Mm.
possibly drinking the same thing, um, speaking to the same people, and you haven't grown. And you begin to become an enemy of those who are growth oriented and exploring. And you're like, well, what? Yeah. Some people wouldn't say things. I think, in Trinidad parlance, we say, I think they have a jumbie. It's like, what is that mindset? Where is that coming from? It's because you don't want to grow and you feel that no one else should grow. And so for many of my audience, I know that you are developing a growth mindset.
Yeah.
And now is the time to ask yourself, what's my next step? What's my next step? You might be unemployed or underemployed, or you might be one of those jobs that just suspended and you don't know what the boss is going to say and you don't know when they're going to call you back. You need to ask yourself, what training should I engage in at this
Yeah.
time? What is the training I should undertake?
That's right.
What if I could retool myself, if I could develop a new skill, what should be that new skill?
Yes.
And what are the things I wanted to do? Now you might say, well, I wanted to drive a truck. Well, you may not be able to take that lessons now, but you could possibly go online
That's right.
and look at all the tutorials about driving a truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can
Yeah.
sign up. There are places that have free uh, courses that you could sign up. A lot of the universities are providing free courses online, and you could take a course or you could look at a tutorial video. As a matter of fact, I am in the process now of setting up our studio so I could produce videos that are of a tutorial nature so that I can help people, because the things that I'm sharing here with you, I would love to package these things so that people could know this
Yeah.
is what to do. These are the things to do. Now it so happened it's couched in this conversation here about going to school at home, but these are things that people need, and they need it very, very desperately to be able to get into that zone. Um, and there's nobody else. This is a golden opportunity. I keep saying it over and over and over. It's the caterpillar cocoon story.
Yeah.
You are in that cocoon, and what you do there. Now, I'm sure that caterpillars do die in the cocoon. I'm sure from time to time you see one, and maybe the guy never comes out.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
said guy, but it could be a girl too. They die in there. Yes, Lori.
Yes. I guess that happens at times. Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
it comes back to taking advantage of what we have, because learning is fun. It's
I like
deliberate
that.
and it's so much fun. I mean, who wishes that they didn't know uh, or didn't experience all the benefits that they have because of what they've learned about
Mhm.
themselves, their body, the environment. I
Mhm.
mean, there's just so much. It's an
Mhm.
infinite
Mhm.
amount of of knowledge, of principles, of concepts and strategies that we could learn. And each of these has a benefit for us. And just understanding that is a great encouragement. And like, you drew the example, Dr. Abraham, of learning when we were children, and we were so excited to learn because it was so much fun.
Yes.
And we have that opportunity today. We could still make it fun. We can involve our friends. We can have an accountability partner. So much we could do. We can learn
Yes.
together and grow together. So there's so
Yes.
much we can look forward to. That
Of course.
you know,
Of course.
the sky is the
Of
limit.
course. The sky is the limit.
Yes.
Wow. So thank you for spending this time with us, Lori. Thank you for your major contribution. I want you to stay on set as we wrap up today. I know that this weekend we completed our first cycle of our growth track. This is the first month of this new growth track material, and this was really, really, really awesome. And I really thank God for all of you who completed your growth track, all 4 sessions. There are many, 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 many people who did. I want to commend our growth track director, Nicole Melville, and her team, Alyssa Anwandis, and others. I want to congratulate you for the work that you have done in helping bring us to this place. I know you went all out. Join me, please. If you're a part of my team, join me in congratulating them. This coming Sunday, we start back with step one. And many of you have people. All we're asking you is to have at least one person, that you could invite. If you could get one person, just one person that you could be part of step one and
Yes.
enroll in this course. It's free, it's online, it's at 11:45. It comes with an ebook that we will send you, and you are going to be able to follow along step by step, session by session, and it's very interactive. We have breakout rooms, and it's really great for us. So I want to encourage you to sign up for the growth track. Sign up. We could put that banner up. Sign up for growth track. Sign up for growth track. Enroll today in our growth track. I want that to be something that we should be doing right now. Right now. We also have, we're getting ready now to also launch some small groups. And I love that. I love that we can launch our small groups in the first, we have small groups coming up, and we want to launch them beginning this month. This month we're going to be doing our small groups online. You're going to be able to have your coffee. You'll be home. You'll be in your privacy of your room, wherever you are. That's your privacy, or whether you want your family to be. But you get to be in a small group with us. We're going to be rolling out 4 small groups in the first week in May. We're going to start the enrollment process. So get ready now to enroll in our small groups. We also have coming up our first Wednesday, which is going to be amazing. That's coming up this first Wednesday of the month, and it's when we have communion. We have communion. We have worship. It's a little different. We pray for you. It's a very special time. It's very different from what we experience with the other services, and I have a special time of teaching and sharing with you. I'm looking forward to it very much. And finally, we also have our training institute. Our Freedom House Training Institute is going to be beginning a new enrollment for a new semester. Many of the students have completed the 2 trimesters. They're now going on to the 3rd of 5 trimesters. And could you imagine, they're almost halfway there. It seems like they just started just the other day. And now, and we exist to educate, equip, and empower you. And this is you're training locally, but your degree is coming from one of the it's coming from an overseas, a US based training school, and all of that is available in our brochure. You can hear more by calling calling us, reaching out to us. The numbers are on the screen. And we have room for you. We're starting a new semester as well. And I like that. Lori, you want to talk about this new semester and this enrollment? Um, I would love to.
Certainly.
Yes.
Certainly. So we have trimester three that's beginning on the 12th of May. We run on Tuesdays for a couple of hours. And we also have, for people who want to sign up and start afresh, we want to encourage you to plan now to be a part of our trimester one that begins on the 1st of September 2020. Like Dr. Abraham said, those going into trimester three in May have completed or are completing their second trimester tomorrow.
Yes.
But we, listen, learning is growing. And this is such a fantastic opportunity to build foundation and to apply what we know. You know, I was sharing with somebody that COVID-19 has caused us to learn certain things, and we don't know what's coming next. And the more prepared we are,
Oh, that's
is
good.
better that life is going to be for us, our households, communities, and nations. I don't say this lightly. The principles that we have taken hold of, the growth that we've experienced, the maturity that we've experienced, growth in our prayer life, in our ownership of our lives, ownership of our families, etc., preparing to launch small groups and to uh, meet the needs of people. Listen, our nation needs this. Our families need it. And I really want to stress and to invite you to really consider being a part of and to proceeding and signing up by faith to come on board for our trimester one that begins in September 1st of 2020.
Yes, yes, yes. I like that. I like that. We are now enrolling. We are enrolling now for the Training Institute
Yes,
for a new semester, and you get to deepen your walk with God,
that's right.
um, and strengthen your faith.
Yes,
Yeah, um, and this is all available. And it's something that we want to look forward to. Forward to very much. I'm very happy for all my students. I love what they are learning. I love to see the momentum in their life, and there's such growth taking place. Yes, yes.
yes.
Well, Laurie, it's great for us to be on today. I'd like you to just pray a prayer of blessing over our audience today as we wrap up.
Sure,
Yes,
sure. Father, thank you so much for everyone who joined us today and for what you imparted to us, the power principles, these principles that help us to lay right foundation or to correct our foundation, these principles that help us to grow. Thank you. We bless our audience. We bless them today with your
yes,
peace, your
yes,
protection, your grace, your
yes,
love to be showered all
yes.
over them.
Thank you,
We
Lord.
bless Dr. Abraham today.
Thank you,
Continue
Lord.
to uh, seed
Yes,
him
yes,
with what he needs to deliver. We
yes,
bless his program, the Daily Brief, to flourish. And we
yes.
say thank you in Jesus'
Thank
name.
you. In Jesus' name. Wow.
And
Philip, congratulations, everyone. I want you to have an amazing day today. The day is
yeah,
still young. Whatever you're doing, shine for the Lord.
yes,
Remember, we're praying for you. We love you very much. And I'm your friend, Joseph Abraham, thanking you for spending this part of your day with us. Wherever you are in the world, we say, looking forward to seeing you soon. God
yes.
bless you. Bye bye now. Yeah.